Hello and welcome to the news on NTA International. I am Olajide Bello. First, the headlines. Niger's new military leader holds first meeting with members of government since Wednesday's coup. United States of America and European Union express worries over impact of coup on investment and security alliance against insurgents. Plus, federal government emphasizes importance of Ajaokuta Steel Company to economic projections at Russia-Africa Summit. The United States describes the coup in Niger Republic as a threat to her investment in West African nation. The U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken says the actions of a few men threaten hundreds of millions of dollars of U.S. assistance that benefit the Nigerian people. Blinken says he had a discussion with the President Mohamed Bazoum and with former President Muhammadu Yusufu on the development, reiterating U.S. unflagging support of Bazoum's continued leadership. In March this year, Anthony Blinken visited Niger Republic, where he announced $150 million in direct assistance to the country. Meanwhile, the EU has suspended all security cooperation with Niger after the country army took part in a coup. It comes shortly after the U.S. declared its unflagging support for ousted President Mohamed Bazoum, seen as a key Western ally in the fight against Islamist militants. On Friday, the head of Presidential Guards Unit, General Abdurrahman Chiani, declared himself Niger's new leader. He said insecurity, economic woes and corruption led him to seize power. But there are now concerns in the West about which countries the new leader will align with. Niger's Republic, neighbors Burkina Faso and Mali have both pivoted towards Russia since their own coup. EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell joined the US and the France in refusing to recognize the coup leaders and said security cooperation and budgetary aid was being suspended indefinitely. Also on Saturday, the African Union called on the Niger army to return to base within 15 days. Now, Niger's new military leader has met with members of the government for the first time since the Wednesday's coup. The meeting took place at the presidential palace capital in Niamey.
The African Union has issued a 15-day ultimatum to the junta in Niger Republic to reinstall the country's democratically elected government, just as the coup leaders met with senior civil servants to discuss how they would run the country. After its meeting on Friday, the African Union Peace and Security Council said it was concerned by the alarming resurgence of coup that undermined democracy and stability on the continent. It asked the soldiers to return immediately and unconditionally to their barracks and restore constitutional authority within a maximum of 15 days. The UN's representative in Niger appealed for the release of President Bazoum. Nicole Kause, United States Nations Development Program representative in Niger, said in 2023, before this political crisis, Niger had 4.3 million people in humanitarian need, with 3.3 million in acute food insecurity, the majority of whom are women and children. He noted that the UN wants to reinforce the humanitarian appeal to all its partners to further support the humanitarian response in Niger, which to date it is only 32% funded. Brigadier General Mohamed Tumba, one of the soldiers who hosted President Bazoum on Wednesday, told the state television that the junta met with civil servants on Friday and asked them to continue their work as usual following the suspension of the constitution. Brigadier General Tumba told its workers that everything that must be done will be done, signaling the intention of the regime led by General Abdurrahman Tijani.
Joining us now in the studio to look at the developments in Niger Republic is Dr. Abubakar Mohammed of the Department of Military Studies, Abuja, and Leadership Center, University of Abuja. Dr. Abubakar, you're welcome to our studios.
Thank you for having me.
Now, the initial steps taken by ECOWAS and other foreign leaders on the coup in Niger Republic, how far can it go in resolving the matter?
I beg your pardon, can you come again?
The initial steps taken by ECOWAS and other foreign leaders on the coup in Niger Republic, how far can it go in resolving the matter?
Well, first of all, I would say the coup d'etat in Niger Republic is a highly condemnable act, and it's a very unfortunate development. If you can remember, I think this is the first time we're having a civilian-to-civilian transition of government or power in Niger. Unlike Nigeria, that you could talk about Obasanjo to Shagari, then right from 1999 to the date. In Niger, it's only President Mohamed Yusuf, former President Mohamed Yusuf, to Mohamed Bazoum. These soldiers now came and they truncated everything. It's an unfortunate development. Now, concerning what the ECOWAS is trying to do, I think it's a very dicey situation. And if I'll be very frank, I think it's too late because the situation is a complicated one. The new guys on the scene have said it, that any military action against them will have serious consequences. That they are not really ready to step down, and the issue of Bazoum coming back might likely be very difficult. And if ECOWAS decide to push them to the wall, now they have said it that they are not with the Russians. If you can see what is happening in the Sahel, Niger, Mali, Burkina, all share borders. But Burkina and Mali, they are all with the Russians. The Wagner group is there. It's only Burkina that is working with the Americans and working with the French. If ECOWAS decide to push them, they might equally open their country to the Wagner group and the Russians, and I think the situation will get more compounded. That's my opinion.
All right, President Tinubu, as chairman of ECOWAS, is holding a high-level meeting on the issue in Abuja tomorrow, July 30th. What are your expectations from that meeting?
Well, I believe the issue of coup d'etat in the Sahel, and especially in the West African sub-region, is getting out of hand. We don't want it. What we have in Mali, what we have in Burkina, soldiers are there. It has not solved anything. If anything, I would say it has increased the number of deaths, by the terrorists and whatever. Now, the issue that ECOWAS need to sit down and, take a critical look at is not about military coup d'etat here and there. It's about what is causing this coup d'etats in, the West African countries and the Sahel. It's bad governance. If there is bad governance in your country, the people don't respect term limits. You are engineering the soldiers to step in and salvage the situation. You understand? So I think the first thing the president should talk to his colleague is they should respect term limit. If you have 2 terms limit, respect it, step down when your term is over and hand over to another democratically elected president. The issue of bad governance, the issue of lack of jobs, unemployment, rule of law. These are things that once they are there, I think those guys who are there in the barrack will not have the temerity to say they will step in to seize power. Even if they do that, the people, the citizenry, the masses will not come out and be cheering them the way we see it happening in I think Guinea Conakry, when Doumbouya sacked Alpha Conde, how we saw it in Burkina Faso. All these are because there is bad governance. There is no good governance, no rule of law. So ECOWAS should talk to themselves. The people are getting fed up. There is need for good governance, rule of law, and if we can do that, term limit, people should respect it. Like, I give you an example, the situation in Ivory Coast. What do they call him? I cannot really remember the name of the president. Ouattara came in, through a very complicated situation because Gbagbo doesn't even want to quit the scene. But Ouattara took over 2 terms, he served it, he changed the constitution, he's running for a 3rd term. You understand? So what about the man in Cameroon here? Paul Biya has been there since 1982, doesn't want to go. At the end, if a soldier came in to come in to sack him, people would jubilate. You understand? ECOWAS should begin to talk to all the sit-tight rulers. You should make democracy to be democracy indeed. If you don't do that, the soldiers will say they will come in to salvage the situation and restore order.
Right, Dr. Abubakar, very quickly now. And lastly, what implications would the coup in Niger Republic cause if not resolved? And what will it have on the democracy and security in the sub-region?
Well, this is very clear. Everybody knows it. It will encourage other people to do the same. You understand? This thing was started in 1963 when Nasibe Yadema toppled a democratically elected government in Togo. Ever since then, other people have been copying him. If this issue is not properly handled, I bet you will see another country will follow suit. So ECOWAS should do what is needful. If they can toe the line of what Abacha did to restore democracy in Sierra Leone, when Ahmed Tijani Kaba was removed and Nigeria played a major role through ECOMOG, restoring Tijani Kaba back, if they can do that, fine and good. Whatever, they should handle it very well.
All right, many thanks, Dr. Abubakar Mohammed of the Department of Military Studies, University of Abuja, and Senior Fellow at Tuku Buratai Research Center.
Thank you.
And moving on now, the federal government says the completion of the Ajaokuta Steel Company is a major project that encourages the Nigerian delegation to attend the Russia-Africa Summit. Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima said this while addressing the Nigerian community in Russia at the end of the Russia-Africa Economic and Humanitarian Summit. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jubrila reports on the engagement.
Excellency, we have high expectations from you. Nigerian students in Russia were honored to be part of this significant event that emphasizes cooperation and mutual prosperity.
The main concern of these Nigerians in Russia is to create an enabling environment to explore their talent and giving back to their home country, Nigeria.
With the renewed vision and the renewed hope that Your Excellency has brought together with your principal, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I know the agenda you have for Nigeria will be pacifying. We will only need to be patient for some time.
Nigeria is a country blessed with human and material resources they say can attain speedy economic growth with the removal of fuel subsidy. Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima says the renewed Hope government is ready to partner in all sectors of development.
We are here fundamentally to pursue the completion of the Ajaokuta Steel. Nigeria has sunk in about $10 billion into that project. That project is almost 95% to 97% completed. What is needed is that little 3 to 5%. And it's going to be a game changer. Having a vibrant steel industry is a sine qua non for the industrial take-up of any nation. And I can bet you, I can promise you that the President will bring Ajaokuta to reality.
He described the Nigerian leader Bola Tinubu as compassionate one and a game changer who will redefine the meaning of contemporary leadership style for the betterment of the country.
Those of you that are proficient in Russian, those of you that have skills in applied sciences, will harness all of you, retrain you, and take you back home to local. And my leader, my boss, my principal, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is irrevocably committed to the Ajaokuta and the Alston Aluminium Smelter Company of Nigeria in Akwa Ibom.
Education is another field Nigerian students are excelling in Russia, graduating in different technological innovative courses, which the country can utilize for growth and development.
So very soon the issue of Japan will be over. Our target is to train 1 million Nigerians on digital skills. But most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, to to say that I'm impressed with the discipline, with the maturity exhibited by the members of the Nigerian community in Russia is an understatement. And I must confess that I was impressed by the ambassador's hands-on approach. He virtually knows all the leading lines of the Nigerian community. That goes to show that he is a leader that we can trust.
The Vice President expresses the usual commitment by taking a more holistic approach at the recovery of the country's economy to provide access to finance and investment that will leverage inclusive growth. From St. Petersburg in Russia, Abraman Jibrila, NTA News.
Nigeria is looking forward to strengthening cultural diplomacy as part of potentials put in place towards deepening ties between Nigeria and Russia towards a common goal. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Ismail Jibila reports the Vice President Kashim Shettima set a visit an art exhibition center he visited in St. Petersburg, Russia.
Urban landscape of St. Petersburg in Russia, built at the beginning of the 18th century, within a short period, consisting of historical city co-surrounded by ceremonial country residences, is as a result of preservance of its heritage. Young Russian artists and designers are developing interest in the Nigerian arts and designs. As Nigeria continues to partner Russia in economic growth, cultural development forms part of partnerships between Nigeria in seeking cement bonds of the two friendly countries. The Embassy of Nigeria in the Russian Federation has organized an art exhibition for young Russian artists themed How I Imagined Nigeria, in collaboration with the International Center for Russian Entrepreneurship, showcased the artworks. Excited by the development, Vice President Kashim Shettima took time to see for himself the innovative approach of the young Russian artists.
So Nigeria is where the action is. This is why we are here to seek for partnership, for friendship, for investors from Russia to invest in the Nigerian economy. And Your Excellency, it might interest you to know that the median age of the Nigerian nation is 19, a very active age group that are willing to work, that are willing to add value to humanity.
He also took time out to enjoy the aromatic Russian tea with the presentation of awards to winners in the Nigeria-Russia art exhibition. From St. Petersburg in Russia, Abraman Jibrila, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International. We pause now for some messages. The news continues shortly.
We must all join hands to work hard so that we build a country for our grandchildren.
My hope is that we develop as a nation where every citizen is given his due right. There is transparency, honesty, and integrity.
Put the interests of this country first and foremost. Interests of Nigeria is being one nation, one people.
The need, if I mean, to put things right, things that have gone wrong before, to try and put right, for this, for the love of country.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. And to watch NTA International in the USA, Canada, and Mexico, use the following satellite parameters. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Many thanks for being there. The second Russia-Africa summit has ended in St. Petersburg, Russia, with both parties agreeing to enhance cooperation in several areas, including trade, security, and ICT. Victor Azu reports that it was also an enriching experience for the media.
St. Petersburg, home to about 5 million people. The ancient city, 350 years old, is notable for its religious and cultural tolerance. Little wonder it is called Russia's cultural capital. This may explain the choice of St. Petersburg as host city for the Russia-Africa Summit 2023. Besides deepening cooperation between the host Russia and African countries, knotty issues like the ongoing conflict in Ukraine are expected to feature prominently, given its impact on food security in Africa.
In view of the conflict, that support that Africa gets from Russia has also been affected. So if that can be resolved also, that would be a good thing.
Notwithstanding, Russia seems determined to tell its own story, and in a good way. To underline this, African journalists under the umbrella of the African Union of Broadcasting have been treated to a guided tour of St. Petersburg. The Bridge of Annunciation, the Spilled Blood Church, and the River Fontanka, with more than 20 bridges, are only some of the culturally significant sites visited.
This river is one of the largest in Russia, and besides it makes part of a very old and important trade route.
Regardless, the full story of the Russia-Africa Summit 2023 is likely to be told after the entire event is over, particularly as journalists we are not allowed to film the accreditation process. From St. Petersburg, Russia, Victor Azu, NTA News.
A 20 million euro wastewater and medical waste treatment plant has been inaugurated in Ghana. This is to ensure effective management of waste in the Sekondi Takoradi Metropolitan District. The project is funded by Jaspon Group and companies in collaboration with the government of Ghana.
The Takoradi wastewater treatment plants and the medical waste treatment plants that have a capacity of 1,000 cubic meters per day are jointly constructed by the Jaspon Group of companies in partnership with Pierico of Hungary in collaboration with the government of Ghana. Funding was provided by the Exim Bank of Hungary. This brings to 4 the number of waste treatment facilities constructed by the company. The executive chairman of the Jaspon Group, Mr. Joseph Siao Ejepong, called for support for indigenous Ghanaian businesses.
Let's trust the Ghanaian. The Ghanaian is able and capable to do everything. You see, when we travel to America, to Europe, to China, whatever we see there was achieved by the same people of their country. When you give the Ghanaian a mile, the Ghanaian by nature is a thriving, excellent person. You always want to do something.
The Minister for Public Enterprises, Mr. Joseph Kujo, assured the business community of the state's readiness to render prompt services to facilitate the smooth running of businesses. The Western Regional Minister, Mr. Kwabena Ochrida Kumensa, said the environmental
districts and the overall environmental condition of the city, as well as to decrease the health hazards caused by improperly treated sewage.
The State Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade of Hungary, Mr. Tristan Asbej, said the partnership has mutual benefit for both countries.
Through your partnership, we can inaugurate this facility, which uses Hungarian knowledge and technology, but were built with heavy involvement of you Ghanaian people and companies. And this is more than a wastewater treatment facility. It is a human achievement to address the challenges of wastewater treatment, but it is also a dream of a more green and a more healthier Takoradi and Ghana.
Mr. Asbech, on behalf of the President of Hungary, conferred the Officer's Cross of the Hungarian Order of Merit on the Executive Chairman of the Jospon Group of Companies, Mr. Joseph Siao Achepong, for his contribution towards ensuring a cleaner environment through effective management of waste.
A group of federal lawmakers in the House of Representatives has passed a vote of confidence on the leadership of the House over the recent constitution of standing committees, which they say has further united the Green Chamber. Speaking on behalf of the lawmakers, Chairman of House Committee on Petroleum Resources Downstream, Ikuagonu Ugochinyere, noted that Speaker Tajuddin Abbas and Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu carried all interest along in the selection committee without prejudice to contestants during the speakership race.
So the composition is a reflection of the one parliament that they promised us, focusing on delivering on people interest-driven legislation. And that is why you can see the unity, the oneness, that all is set for the full business of parliament by the time we come back in 6 weeks' time. And I also want to urge Nigerians to help to the over-dramatization, over-classification of these committees, as if to say is a business. These are for national responsibilities.
And up next is the weather forecast.
Team Nigeria won 9 gold, 6 silver and 2 bronze medals ahead of Sao Tome and Principe on 1 gold and 3 silver on day 1 of the first African Admiral Pobene Boat Championship in Abuja. The Confederation of Edo State, they beat Sunshine Kings 22-20 to emerge winners of the handball competition. Meanwhile, Adama Warriors and Sunshine Kings have been promoted.
O'Callaghan in a world record! O'Callaghan, a world record, the gold medal, Titmus takes silver record, McIntosh the bronze.
4-0 win over Italy on 3 points Saturday morning. With sports update, Peter Oibo, NTA News.
And sorry about that mix-up, that was actually sport tidbits. And that concludes the news on NTA International. Many thanks for being a part of it. I am Olajide Bello.